And we're back, part 2. So if you heard the beginning of part 1, I'm not going to go through the what we're doing because we already sort of talked about it in part 1. If you started with part 2, you're one of those weirdos that like reads the ending of the book before buying it and reading the whole book, or loves going on those Reddit spoiler website. I don't understand you. You are everything that I'm against as a storyteller. But the difference is in the first part, we kind of broke down 2 movies. Now in this, we're going to have a little more fun with it. It's a challenge, so to speak, which is why we decided to break into part 2, because we're going to have to do a little bit of research real time here. What we did in the first one was we broke down how we would reboot Star Wars and X-Men. Mm-hmm. On this episode, we have surprise movies. I picked a movie that I broke down myself, and I'm going to pitch that movie to Anthony. And while I'm pitching the movie, he's got to come up with his casting, and vice versa. He's done the same for me. And then after that, we're going to pick the top 5 remakes/reboots that need to be eliminated from the world. Spoiler.
We don't need them. We don't need it.
I'm just gonna, because we have the time and we broke it up, I'm gonna do a quick 2 minutes on the fact that Hunger Games is a fucking abomination, and I was gonna put that as my number 1 because no matter what that fucking asshole writer, yeah, you're an asshole. She's like, I've never heard of Battle Royale. That is a remake of Battle Royale, except for the fact that it's shit and it's young adult bullshit. And she fucking sat there. Here's why I'm going hard in the paint on her. She said, by the way, this is like 10 years ago. But I'm still hot.
You're angry. I'm
still hot.
Go ahead.
So
Keep going.
She said she had never heard of Battle Royale before. I'll tell you why I know this is bullshit.
Bitch.
No, that could be true, that you're a shitty person that just doesn't watch anything but Twilight all the time and tries to make a Twilight reboot or whatever. Your publicist knows Battle Royale and tells you when she reads your book and all that other stuff.
Somebody has to know.
So I say all that to say, because Battle Royale was one of my favorite books growing up. Battle Royale is basically Lord of the Flies on crack. And what, I forget her name, and I don't need to tell her, whoever wrote the Hunger Games basically mixed Divergent and Twilight, and then took the Battle Royale premise and Lord of the Flies and basically just put it all together. Mm-hmm. It's horrible writing. The girl I was dating at the time made me read the book. I hated the book. It's horrible. Jennifer Lawrence made it credible.
But it's still bullshit. It's still bullshit. How do you not know Battle Royale? Come on.
Well,
come on.
Again, Karen, the average Karen probably doesn't know what Battle Royale is. My point is this: I just want everybody to know that when I deliver the top 5 reboots that should be eliminated, I would trade all of that to destroy the Hunger Games. I had that as my number 1, and then I'm like, no, because whatever. So I just wanted to start off by just saying, that is a reboot of Battle Royale, and it's a damn abomination, and if you want to have the time of your life, please read Battle Royale. It's a Japanese novel. It's freaking amazing. Culture yourself. You'll get used to the names. And the movie is not that bad either. Like, I like the movie, and Quentin Tarantino was highly inspired by it. Yeah. And all that other stuff. So
for sure.
There you go. All right.
For sure.
That's been 10 years. I had that one in the chamber for like good 10 years.
He let that out. He had that in him for a long time.
And we will never discuss this again. Ever. All right. So, all right. I'm going to throw my fastball pitch on my movie to remake. And by the way, this is another one of those movies that should never be remade. But the fact that I selected this cast is why I want to remake this movie.
All right.
I am giving you Predator.
Gee. The original?
The original Predator.
All right.
Here's my pitch. We are going to take the original Predator, all right? we're
right.
going to spend about 15, 20 minutes longer with the team and the mission.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to see these guys in raid-style action fucking up that village, doing another thing. As a matter of fact, it'll probably be half the movie. Half the movie is going to be these guys together. Because here's the Predator is one of my favorite movies. That and Die Hard bounces back and forth. Obviously, Godfather is another thing.
Yeah.
They bounce back and forth constantly. The only flaw of Predator, and there is no flaw, but if I could nitpick, we weren't with the team long enough. Now movies are 2 hours long. We stay with the team a little more and have them doing.
Yeah, we get the characters and their nuances and yeah.
Now the only reason to remake the Predator is to throw a cast that just all this amazing cast together. When I gave my buddies my list, some of them said, "Well, dude, like that's an expensive movie you just put together."
Of course.
To which I said, "Didn't that mouse buy Fox? That mouse has got money. And by the way, when I give you my cast, you know everyone's going to see this movie."
Exactly.
So, I need you to understand, number one, we're gonna hang about 10 more minutes in the hangar, and we're gonna do a picking up the team and where they're at in cool little. It's gonna be Ocean's 11 like picking up the team, the intros in the beginning. Then we're gonna do about 15, 20 minutes longer on the mission.
All right.
And then the back half of the movie, the last hour of the movie, is going to be them getting picked off one by one.
Okay.
All right. So, Predator. Here's my cast. Now, I'm going to start with Anna. Anna's the girl. This is sort of bullshit because she was in the Predators movie, but I got Alice Braga. And I flipped back and forth. Alice Braga's Queen of the South, since you only watch shitty
Oh,
TV
yeah,
shows.
yeah,
See, you knew that one.
Yeah.
Fuck. So anyway, God, we are so similar on everything, but you're network television, and you know.
Yeah, I got holes in my shit.
Also,
I know a lot of, but
he's
I got
black
some holes.
and I'm white, but I constantly date the black girls. He constantly dates the white girls.
Pretty
Which,
much.
we like that. I mean, that's why we fit. All right. Anyway. All right. So Alice Braga, I flipped on a few different Brazilian and Latina actors, and I settled on Alice Braga because there needs to be something mysterious about that character.
Yeah.
And a little scary. You kind of have to think like she might slit your throat in the middle of the night if you're not careful. And Alice Braga just nails it. So I got Alice Braga. Now let's get to the team. Hawkins, played by Shane Black. All right, Shane Black. You know he was the guy that wrote. So he didn't write Predator. They brought him in to punch up the dialogue. Shane Black's one of the best screenwriters of all time and a big influence on me. Point is, he was good with the quips and everything, so they put him on the team, and he would make these stupid jokes and all this other stuff. So the character Hawkins needs to be a jokester, and I went with Tony's favorite boy, Ryan Reynolds. So think about that. Ryan Reynolds is the first to die.
That would be great.
He makes his jokes, and he dies. Now, Poncho is the next. Poncho is the cool as a cucumber character who sort of hangs around. He survives to the end. He sort of gets along with the whole team or whatever. I decided to flip the character of Poncho a little bit and go with the strong, quiet type who ran around and did a bunch of crazy shit. I went with Iko Uwe. Uwe. The Raid guy. Iko. The main character in The Raid.
The Raid. Okay.
The movie The Raid?
Okay.
You've seen Queen of the South and you haven't seen The Raid.
I have watched The Raid.
Iko, arguably the Jet Li of our generation. Even though Jet Li is the Jet Li of our generation. But you get what I'm saying. Right. So you got Ryan Reynolds and Iko so far. It can only go up from here. Next is Billy. Now it's hard to recast Billy. That scary native, I forget his name, Native American. God, he's so awesome. And that guy's a tough bastard. So I was like, well, who has the gravitas and the spookiness and the sort of mythical thing? With Billy, I went Jason Momoa. And I feel like Jason Momoa is the only character that could replace him. I should really look up his name real quick, but I don't want to waste time on. Anyway, Jason Momoa for Billy. Next we go Blaine, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
Now that's hard. It's hard to pick someone to replace Jesse Ventura, and I feel like much like with Jason Momoa with Billy, there's only one actor who could take the place of Jesse Ventura is Blaine, and that's John Cena. And I want John Cena's still big, but I want roided out prototype John Cena for you old school wrestling fans. I want him jacked to the gills, and the way I would upgrade it is I would have this man carrying 2 chainsaw guns. Yep, and John Cena could do it. I'm just going to go full blown. By the way, quick spoiler, The Rock and Vin Diesel ain't in this damn movie. I sort of wanted to put The Rock in there. I love The Rock. Everybody know, hey, I'm a Miami Hurricane guy. I've been with The Rock way before all of you were booing him, except for me. All right? I'm with The Rock. But that whole Vin Diesel Rock thing, nope, it's not in my movie.
No.
So everybody, of course, thinks The Rock should play Dutch. And no, I can't. I'm sorry, I vetoed that. Anyway, back to my cast. So we've got Ryan Reynolds as Hawkins, Poncho is Iko, Billy is Jason Momoa, Blaine is John Cena. That's already like all-star cast. Like, that's it. I haven't even gotten to the top 3. Mac, Bill Duke himself. All right. Now this was hard. I was trying to rack my brain on who could be Bill Duke, or really Bill Duke.
Yeah.
At one point, I went with Rollins, the what's his name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? In the Chappelle Show, Ashy Larry.
Oh.
At one point, I was like, because I wanted to do something crazy. At one point, I was like, let's just put him in there as Mac. That'd be. But then I was like, no, that's crazy. I got to look at my awesome cast. Thank God I didn't go that way. But my point is, you needed to go with someone who was so unpredictable, so crazy. I had to change the race of Mac. Shia LaBeouf as Mac. Yes.
Jesus.
How awesome is this cast so far?
All right.
You got Alice Braga, Ryan Reynolds, Iko Uwais, Jason Momoa, John Cena, and Shia LaBeouf. That can lead an all-star cast in any movie. We still have Dylan and Dutch to cast.
Right.
Dylan is Black Panther jacked Michael B. Jordan. Yep. Michael B. Jordan for Dylan. And that leaves Dutch. And if I'm not going to cast The Rock for Dutch, there's only one other guy I possibly could. And that is Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth, Michael B. Jordan, Shia LaBeouf, John Cena, Jason Momoa, Iko Uwais, Ryan Reynolds, Alice Braga. Fuck you, pay me. That movie would break Avenger Endgame records. I'm just telling you. That's why I can afford that cast. Screw you if you believe different. Anthony? Any thoughts? By the way, if we're gonna remake The Predator, we got to make it better. You can't not. I mean, that's the problem. My boy Robert Rodriguez, who I'm pretty much a filmmaker because of that dude. He did a really good shot. This new one, they're very proud of this new one. This new one might be great, but as good as whatever or as bad, however you feel, nothing comes close to The Predator.
No.
Well, the only way to beat it is to put these insane assholes all in one movie and then just have them go at it and act crazy for 2 fucking hours.
And you know, it's funny because I feel like the Predator they came up with that was like the last version they came out with that had like fucking
great cast, by the way.
Keegan-Michael Key and all that.
I was so excited.
And Thomas Jane.
And Shane Black. It was Shane Black directing. I don't know what happened. Well, first off, studio interfered with that movie. But go on.
I enjoyed it, but it was different. It was a different take on it for sure. And I was like, all right, well, whatever.
What do you think of my movie?
I like it. I'm trying to come up with the cast members for my take on it. Oh my god! And I'm thinking of some, for on off the fly.
Do we need to pause?
Yeah, we need to. Hold on 1 second. Boop. All right, we are back.
And, you know, during the break, hopefully you enjoyed those commercials for Simply Safe and Fleshlight and whatever else.
Fleshlight and toilets that flush themselves and shit.
Fleshlight, yeah.
Flush toilet.
Or the more refined one, bidet.
Bidet.
Good day, bidet.
The bidet.
It's the good day bidet.
And bidet to you, sir.
We're not casting the Predator. Because I almost thought about casting the Predator and just going Van Damme again.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Because, you know, we would just go with the mountain, you know, and call it. It's boring. So we're not casting the Predator. But Anthony, during the quick break, got to take a few more shots and pick his Predator cast. So.
Yeah, I got my Predator cast lined up and ready.
All right, let's go.
So is that what you want? You want that Predator cast?
Yeah, but by the way, now's a good time to tell me what movie I've got to cast.
Okay. All right, so while I'm doing my casting, your movie is going to be Dusk Till Dawn.
You son of a... Dusk Till Dawn is the movie that made me become a filmmaker. And this motherfucker... How fucking dare you?
Whatever.
Man, alright.
Whatever, puto. Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, that movie has history upon history upon history of all of us, so it makes sense. It truly does. For casting, for the movie itself, for the lore, for everything, we all grew up and have seen this movie sometime in our life, so it makes sense. Alright, so my casting for Predator. So I'm going to go with, let's start with Dutch. We're going to go with the main character, the Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger, of the of the movie.
I just stayed silent.
Yeah, I said that. I'm going to go with John Cena.
Yeah.
I'll go with John Cena. And
solid choice. Probably the realistic choice, right? Probably if they remade the movie, that's what they would do.
Right. Oh, for sure. For sure. And we're going to go with the casting mate from John Cena from Suicide Squad. For Dylan, I would pick Idris Elba. I'm sorry. I'm like, when it comes to anything you do, I'm going to say this. Anything you do, if Idris Elba isn't a choice in what you're doing, you're not doing it right.
Can I be honest? I don't really like him.
Oh, I fucking love him.
I've been made clear that I don't like him at all. And
Bullshit.
I'm not a fan.
Bullshit.
I cast him in my bed, for crying out loud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, and the thing is, for me, I'm not even a big fucking fan of this type of shit. But when I watched The Wire, I was fucking sold. And I'm not big on fucking crime dramas, you know, from shit that I'm actually close enough to actually feel. So when it came to The Wire, I was not on board with it at all, but everybody kept telling me, you gotta watch The Wire.
We grew up in the streets of the DMV.
Yeah.
That's close to home.
So watching The Wire, when I watched it, I was like, holy shit. I couldn't imagine one that this motherfucker's from Britain, period. Then his role in that show alone, it was like, all right, these people knew what they were doing, and the reason why people were hailing that show, I understand why. And there's a lot of people that started from that. So Michael B. Jordan, one of them, fucking, you know, Idris Elba. I mean, you know, like it's just pick.
Snoop.
Yep. There's a lot of people that got their start in that show, and they fucking acted their asses off in it.
Not a weak link in the cast.
No, none at all. So we go to Hawkins. So we're going to go with Glenn Howerton.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's good.
Yeah, for Hawkins. For Mac, I went with...
You got to hear the actor say, I'm going to have me some fun. That's the only sides the actor has when trying to audition for him.
You know what's fucking funny, too? I actually have family that have worked with Bill Duke very, very closely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like how, like I mean, like I'm being like for real.
No, me too. Bill Duke is the Kevin Bacon, but
yeah,
it's like 2 degrees of Bill Duke.
Yeah,
he's in everything.
It's like it's insane how like I have a couple family members that know him, and they've worked with him, and it's just that they know him. So we had him. Anyway,
he's amazing, by the way. An amazing director.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Mac, I went with Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh man, I'm more jealous of that than the Lee Pace pick.
Right?
Holy shit!
I'm gonna have it so fun.
And by the way, don't ever change, Brian.
Yeah.
But if you dropped like 15 pounds, like you still kept the weight, but just a little bit of like the 15 pounds, and put just a pinch of muscle on.
Yep.
You would, first off, you'd be even more. You already look like you could be a badass, but if you did just a little bit.
And he would still pull off that I'm gonna have me some fun line.
Yo, on the real?
Yes.
And I don't say this lightly at all. He might be able to steal from Bill Duke.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
That's.
I mean, that motherfucker. Oh.
That man can do anything. Anything. I've been crapping on Marvel for a long time, but because I'm so disconnected from the MCU. Like after Endgame, none of that crap means anything to me.
Yeah.
I'll watch it if it's a good movie, whatever. Eternals sucks as an MCU movie, but me not caring about things tying together, because none of it does, by the way.
Yeah.
Watching it just solely as like another superhero film that's away from it, I sort of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I sort of enjoyed it for that. Didn't care about the connective tissue. And him, in the little bit that they gave him, I cared about his family, the stakes, everything. And that's just how good of an actor he is, that he played the subtle one.
Yeah. He's solid. He's a solid fucking actor.
He is arguably one of the best actors out there, period.
Yeah, he's a solid fucking actor. He's in everything, and I see why. Mm-hmm. Because it's just what he can do at all. Like, I mean, my introduction to him was fucking Paperboy, and that doesn't even fucking touch the surface of what he can really do. But that also shows what he can really do. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
His physical acting and the fact that that what's his name lets him on that show just hold the camera there. Hero's the director. They hold the camera and they let that dude just emote.
Yeah. He's good.
Because Paperboy don't really talk too much on that show.
No. Like,
he always weighs and measures and plots, which, as we both know, growing up, I mean, Atlanta, not too different from the DMV. You know, they're like brothers, sisters, or whatever. We all know, that's the funny thing about Atlanta. Even though it's very, very Atlanta, we all know people like all those characters on the first season of Atlanta. Yeah, people. We
for
all
sure.
have all of them.
For sure.
Yeah, so.
For sure.
All right.
For sure. All right, so for Billy, I want a little different take. I'm thinking I want to go with the strong accent, African or maybe South African. I went with Chitwale Eckelford.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Holy, the zenness of it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. And then for Blaine, kind of a little weird, but I went with John Krasinski. That was on the fly, but I love John Krasinski and anything he does. John Krasinski can play anything. He can be he can be that fucking douchebag that calls somebody a French fried faggot or what the hell did he say? What the hell did he didn't say no, it was limp dick faggots. He called like in the original Predator.
No, hold on. You're talking about Blaine.
Yeah.
Blaine was trying to hand people chew.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "What? Got a bunch of slack jaw faggots around here.
Yeah.
This stuff will make you a sexual tyrannosaurus." By the way, I'm paraphrasing. No hate against that.
Yeah, none at all. No disrespect or hey.
But I love that line.
We love it all. But that was a different time when it came to Predator, and I mean,
I love that line as much as I love my gay friends. Like, that'd be tough. Like, if my gay friends sat me down and were like, "You can never watch that line again," or be friends with us, I'd be like, look, give me like 2 days to think on it.
Let me get 2 days to just marinate on it for a little bit. You slag-jawed faggot.
Continue.
And then they'd be like, all right, okay, that's cool.
They would, by the way.
And they would, because they knew the kind of person we are. We are not a hate group at all. No. We love it all. We hate it all the same. So I mean, hey, we're part of it. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's just John Krasinski for me. I feel like he could fill that part, and
that would be kind of going back to he never really was that silly, but I feel like he's got a side of him that can go insane, like he can do an insane, and that would give him the opportunity to sort of do that.
Oh yeah,
take the guy from the 13 Benghazi movie, which by the way is an amazing movie. Mm-hmm. And proof positive because Michael Bay is a great director. He's not a good storyteller. He's a great visual director. Right. And if you go, okay, Michael, you get to shoot the film, but we control the story. You see that he could arguably be the best director of all time.
We might be able to do something then.
And that's so many people have not watched that movie. And they're like, it's Michael Bay. And I'm like, I know it's Michael Bay, but like, take all the good of Michael Bay. And then know that, like, whoever was able to wrangle him in and be like, this is a serious story. We need to not have robots flipping over girls with big boobs that you've tried to fuck. And he's reined in. It's his cinematography and his fun along with a very serious story. It was a perfect mix. It's one of my favorite films.
Right.
Going off on a tangent.
But good fucking take, man. Yeah, that was my cast for Predator. I didn't go into like the.
You didn't do Anna?
No. Oh shit! Goddamn.
That's okay.
Selma Hayek.
Sorry.
Selma Hayek.
Why not? I almost did that.
Selma Hayek. I mean, come on, come the fuck on. Let's be real.
I feel like since my friends kind of ragged on me for picking a cast that was like $100 million, I feel like yours would be the more realistic one. So kudos to you. We'll need to pause. Give me like 10 minutes. And the only reason I wanted to pause is so I could type. I realized they'd hear me type. So.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Let's pause it.
All right. We are live.
And we're back. So this bastard, who's a bastard's bastard, shout out to Artie. This guy, man, let me tell you something. My boy Anthony has been in my life. I've lived longer with him than without him.
Right.
And I've done a few podcasts, and we're going to be doing some exciting things coming up, but I just want to say that, like, whether we continue to do this really is like an IMDb nerds podcast. Right. I don't know if this is going to be something that everybody really cares about. Well, I know we're doing this as a test drive, and we wanted to do something where it was analytical. Mm-hmm. So we could stay on point with something with analytical and then just rant like we do instead of just sitting around and ranting for an hour. We wanted some North Star. So this fuckhead gives me From Dusk Till Dawn, which is the movie that made me want to make movies. It is also, even though I said that I date a lot of black girls, Latinas are my go-to, and it's all because of Selma Hayek in this movie.
Oh, Selma Hayek.
She ruined me. I liked blondes. I was a blonde guy.
Orale, vato.
That wasn't even anything about her. That's what happens when you drink too much tequila. You just say that.
You just come out of that shit. Puta maricon. It just comes out.
You're doing pretty good. Your enunciation is pretty good there. It's gonna be blasphemous for me to cast anyone in Santanico
Pandemonium,
which I thought the show did really good, and that actress has blown up ever since. And she's like the new Selma Hayek.
Oh yeah, she's killing it.
She's killing it. She's killing it.
She's fucking killing it.
So let's go. Let's go with recasting this, and what would I do with this movie differently? I would show the heist.
Man, that's like nothing that they've really.
Well, and I
mean the show, but yeah.
Budget, man. They didn't have the budget at the time, and then I think also they didn't want to show the heist. I would have shown the heist. I would have had about another 20 minutes with Seth and Richie.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff. Maybe I would make Richie a little darker. It was an interesting spin what they did on the show. Richie, you're not really... The funny thing is, Richie's kind of a horrible person, and then on the show, when he becomes a vampire, he's sort of absolved of sins, kind of. He's still a rapist.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like you kind of, like, for the movie and all, and, like, what it is, you're supposed to care about this guy, but also kind of look at him like, oh, he is a terrible motherfucker.
Yeah.
But you want to care for him, though.
You know what's funny? I never cared for him. I loved Quentin Tarantino's performance.
Yeah.
I thought, what's his name, who's an amazing actor on the show, forgive me, I don't want to do the research I'm pulling. You both are great actors. DJ Coronas finally gets a little bit of love. That dude, it should be a leading man in Hollywood. But anyway, they made the character on the show more likable. I think the only reason audiences may sort of like Richie is because of Seth's tortured love for him. We all have that problem child, family member. Lord knows some of my brothers and sisters are my cross to bear.
Stuck with that name, can't get right.
Yeah.
That's what that name is like. He just can't get right. I love him to death, but every time you give him a task, he just can't get right.
Well, it's responsible.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how many times, not to get personal, no matter how many times my brother fucked up, or how mad I am, like, the second something's wrong, I gotta go out there. I never condone his actions, but I just understood the relationship between Seth and Richie, and I think that's what made me, if I was even rooting for Richie, it's that.
You're your brother's keeper, man.
Yep, you gotta be.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So, I want to start off with saying that I would recast Cheech Marin for all of his roles. I don't know if that's cheap or not. I could have switched and gave you Luis Guzman, but that's what I'm doing. I'm either like the only person that can step in for Cheech Marin is Luis Guzman.
Yeah.
So that's my cast there. Earl McGraw, quick draw. Earl McGraw. That he is the sheriff that dies. In the beginning of the movie.
The one. That's,
And because shit, I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name. Because that Quentin Tarantino loves that actor so much, and Robert Rodriguez, there's a whole mythology with that character in his lineage. So it's very, very important.
He's like damn near in everything.
Well, and it's most of the characters are related.
Yeah.
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 So I'm so sorry I'm drawing a blank on your name. I've hit injuries, man. I used to be able to riddle it off like that. So please forgive me. I don't know how much this would work. He's really, really, really old. I went with Robert Duvall.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's damn near fucking perfect.
And I feel like Robert Duvall can still get in there, he can still move around and all that other stuff.
Oh
so,
yeah.
I went with Robert Duvall.
Talk shit.
Now, let's go with the cast of characters you meet in one of the most iconic bars in movie history, the Titty Twister.
The Titty Twister.
So I'm going to start with Razor Charlie, which was Danny Trejo's character. You can't do Danny Trejo. You couldn't do Razor Charlie. So the only thing you could do was go a completely different direction with an amazing character actor that would make you forget Danny Trejo because it's so different. I went with Walter Goggins.
I love that motherfucker, man. I'm not gonna lie. I anything he's in, I'm sold.
So let me also say that I thought about Walter Goggins for Richie and Sex Machine and realized the Walter Goggins is perfect.
Yeah.
To make, because Razor Charlie is that immediate threat and immediate attraction, and it needed to be someone who really held your attention, really owned the scenes he was in, right? Mm-hmm. So Walter Goggins is why I put him there. So who did I put for Sex Machine? Well, again, I thought about Steve Buscemi, but I thought, too old in leather pants. So I went with another sort of weird, unpredictable character, which would change the look of Sex Machine, which I'm fine with. I have Sex Machine as Bill Hader.
That's fucking awesome.
And I would set Bill Hader down, and I would be like, whatever you want to do, you do. Barry is absolutely the best show on television.
Yeah, Barry's a good fucking show.
The best show.
I literally decided not to watch any of this last season because I wanted to wait till it was all available and then I will watch it.
It's all available.
And I'm gonna watch that shit. It's so fucking good.
What the fuck do you do with your life? It's wrestling. See, that's just it, man. See, kids.
It's so much wrestling right now.
It's
so much wrestling right now that I can be occupied by that, and then I'll get to whatever I want.
By the way, it was almost a wrestling podcast. I haven't watched wrestling since 2002 or something, and even then, I was checked out. Like, I was checked out after like 2000. But god damn it, Barry and the Boys. The two best shows, and that's saying a lot. There's a lot of good shows. The Bear, I don't know, going forever. Anyway, Bill Hader for Sex Machine, which brings us to Frost. Fred Williamson. So we grew up, us heathens in the DMV, who grow up on the wrong side of the tracks. We watch kung fu flicks and black exploitation films.
Yes,
that's what we do. That's what we bred.
Right.
We watch Coffee. That's where my love for black women came from.
Yes.
Was Pam Grier. Much in the way Quentin Tarantino too, which is ironic. But anyway, Fred Williamson is a huge actor from that world. And so it was huge. And you'd have to figure out who could have the gravitas now that Fred Williams had in that moment. Many of you probably don't know who Fred Williams is now, but in that moment in 1995, it was a big get. It was like if Robert Englund pops up in a horror film, Like, it was one of those things. So I went with Forrest Whitaker. I feel like Forrest Whitaker is the only character that could give that moment, or actor that could give that moment, own it. You needed to be sort of scared of him a little bit, but you also needed to like he was going to be the hero of the whole thing. And he done fucked up. Bill Duke would sit him down. By the way, Bill Duke would work too. But anyway, going with Forrest Whitaker. All right. That moves us to Santanico Pandemonium. There's only one actress besides the two actresses that have already played the role that could play it. It feels stereotypical. It feels easy. I spent a good 10 minutes bouncing back and forth. I thought about changing the race, making her Asian or whatever. Santanico has to be Aztecan, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just,
So I went with Ana de Armas. Like, she's the only other person that can rival the other two who've played that role. It's it. Ana de Armas is in everything. She was in Blade Runner 2099 or 49 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
She's in everything. She was in Bond. She's in a million things. She is now even replaced Elza Gonzalez as sort of the hot Latina in every freaking movie under the sun.
Yeah, she not Selma Hayek thick, but she's sexy as fuck though.
You've never seen Knock Knock, I guess.
It's been a while, but I have seen it. Yeah. Oh god.
One of many times I've envied Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Right.
Whoa. Yeah, no, so, I mean, it's a stereotypical... It's more stereotypical than Ryan Reynolds when you picked him and all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it is the only person. There's no one else. I will not hear anyone else but Ana de Armas. That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
So let's go to the top 5. All right? We've got the family. Scott is first. I wanted to stick with the multiracial family.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about doing, like, making Kate black or whatever. And I decided, no, let me stick to something that looks sort of familiar. I didn't go Asian for Scott, but I went with Ashton Sanders. And if you don't know who Ashton Sanders is, he's arguably one of the best up-and-coming actors. He was in Moonlight as the kid. He was in Judas and the Black Messiah. Native Son, which, whew, that movie. And my favorite performance of his is he plays the RZA on the Wu-Tang show. And boy, does he kill being the RZA. That's that'd be tough to be the RZA. Yeah. And by the way, that's another show. I keep telling you people, that Wu-Tang show is in my top 10.
The Hulu version, right?
So not the documentary, although the documentary is good. No, the narrative Hulu, because Hulu has two. No, I guess it's Showtime that has the documentary, right?
Yeah, Showtime has the documentary. Hulu has the actual show that's based on what happened.
Yeah, the documentary is great, but I was going through a tough time, and that Wu-Tang show reminded me where the fuck I came from. That's all I'm going to say. and got my swagger back real quick. So shout out to that show, and thank you for helping me in that regard. Ashton Sanders is one of these guys who can play anything. I've seen him play like bisexual. I've seen him play hardcore gangster. He's done just about everything. I think he can dance, and
he looks like he looks like he has fucking range, because it's not like every picture I see of him is something completely different.
Yep. He's amazing. He's amazing. And arguably the RZA of actors, I think. So shout out to him. He gonna die though. Scott gets it.
Yeah. Scott always dies.
So Kate, I didn't wanna go the same route as my esteemed colleague here, but I really thought about Kate, and I thought about all these actresses and what could pull it off. She did an amazing job on the show, and I'm not the biggest fan of this show. Like, a couple of my friends are on it, so I sort of had to ride with it. I thought the first season was all right. I thought the last season did pretty good. But everything that this actress did in the last episodes of Stranger Things had me fucked up for days. I'm talking about Sadie Sink, who plays Max. I cast as Kate. That girl owned the show.
Yeah.
She, no disrespect to Millie Bobby Brown, and granted her character had to do all the stuff that she had to do in that season.
But Sadie's, arguably, Sadie had to do a lot more. She had to play terrorized. She had to play, I'm somebody who's going through a trauma, but I don't want to tell anybody. Yeah, she had range in this last season that definitely would show somebody that this girl can act.
Yeah.
For sure.
As much as Steve stole the show, and the one that died that everyone
Eddie
likes,
Munson.
Eddie Munson. As much as those two,
Eddie and Sadie had Eddie's character, and Max had the show.
But to me, Sadie was the standout.
Yeah.
Above, and that's hard to say because there was a lot of standouts. As a matter of fact, I love David Harbour and Winona Ryder. I didn't like their arc. I didn't like all the bullshit they made them do, but I loved them.
Yeah.
And the actors with them too were really good. That comedian actor that I thought is just a filler joke stuff, he did great in that story. The story arc kind of sucked and was irrelevant. I could go and tell you why, but I'm not going to. But the acting around it and the way they performed around each other, that was good. Right. Yeah. All right, moving on. So Jacob. Now Jacob's hard. Harvey Keitel.
Oof.
Yeah. You needed to get a guy who looked like a pushover, but also ended up being real tough in the end, and sort of being the guy that could even tell George Clooney to go fuck himself.
Right.
And not to stick to TV, not to go my co-host route. There's one actor that I've always seen who was either comedic or a pushover that in this show has become a little bit of a badass despite how funny he is. I'm talking about Barry. And my choice for Kate is Stephen Root. Stephen Root. He's in everything. He's in Office Space.
Oh, yeah.
This actor has so much range, but I don't ever remember him being a tough, menacing guy.
Yeah.
And he is on Barry. There's an edge to his character on Barry.
There's moments where he gets dark, and you're like, holy shit, I didn't think this guy had it in him. And you're like, okay, well, this is what we have to do, so this is what we're gonna do. But yeah.
I say this to the point that Stephen Root is the only actor who could play Jacob besides Harvey Keitel. The only one I would accept.
That's a good one.
Like a Bryan Cranston is too much of both, or whatever. Stephen Root, I almost
feel like it's too much of an easy route to say Cranston, because Cranston just. Right. Whatever, he can do it all.
His character in Malcolm in the Middle and his character in Heisenberg is basically the arc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it would be two on the nose. But like Stephen Root, I would actually give up the entire cast of all the movies we've talked about to put Stephen Root and Jacob. I think he's the only person who could do it. Now, Seth and Richie Gecko. A thing you also need to know is an impressionable young AJ. All his quirks and mannerisms and the things he does all the way to this day is Seth Gecko. Seth Gecko inspired me to be sort of the way I am for as good and bad as it is. Seth and Richie Gecko. Seth was played by George Clooney. Richie Gecko was played by Quentin Tarantino. So here's what I would do. I would go, and I thought about this hard. I had Ryan Gosling for a minute. I had a couple of different actors. I contemplated Ryan Reynolds, but he came up too much in this podcast.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds as Richie. I thought about Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds. I thought about that. Dismissed it all. Here's what I would do. I would get these two actors, and I would sit them in a room, and I would be like, both of you could play Seth and Richie. There are versions of your performance where either one of you could play either one. I will let you hash it out among yourselves. But for the sake of making decisions, my Richie Gecko is Chris Evans.
Ooh, okay.
And letting Chris Evans go as creepy as he wanted to in a different way. Chris Evans' Richie Gecko would be very different from Quentin Tarantino's. And I would add a suaveness to it. Think about, ladies, one of those guys at the bar that's good looking and they're interested in you and you're like, oh my God, like this guy's hot in your head and all that other stuff. And within 5 minutes, they've done something to creep you out.
Yeah.
You've experienced these guys. You never really see this guy on film, though. You see him at the bar a lot, in the club, but you don't see him on film. That's the type of Richie Gecko I would have, is that Chris Evans.
But that's the character, though. That's the thing that most people don't really look at. It's like, it's fucked up because the world these days are just so fucked up and crazy. You look at that character now, seeing how he was, where, they bring in this hostage and he's like, he has a hostage in and they're in the hotel room and you can come sit over here next to me. It's okay. So, yeah, Chris Evans, and to me, it's like part of it where it hones to me or where I can see it is I'm thinking Chris Evans from The Losers.
Oh, yeah.
With some of his crazy nuances and characters.
I think my subconscious, that's how I picked that.
Yeah.
I was thinking more along the lines of how he sort of was nerdy in Knives Out. But you know what? I think my subconscious... By the way, underrated fucking movie, The Losers.
Completely!
Let me say this, too. Not to go on a side tangent. The Losers and the A-Team were two amazing fucking movies.
I agree. I've watched that recently, too. The A-Team was a great fucking movie. Don't know why they just fucking been like, oh, abort! Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
They should on both those
That
movies.
was great fucking movies.
They both
great
came
action
out at
movies.
the same time.
Great action fucking movies.
Anyway, it still bothers me.
Yeah.
Not as much as Hunger Games, but it's up there.
But you're right. It's like, I mean, his role in fucking Losers, though, was just goofy, like, fucking great comedic, like, timing and just awesome. I mean, fucking made fun of Don't Stop Believing, all that shit. And then just you throw in just this criminal who is a rapist and fucking is just, it would
Add
work.
a little bit of the sadistic suave from Knives Out.
Yes.
To the character from The Losers. Wow, that is my Richie Gecko. And thank you, because I didn't even realize. Now, keep in mind, for my actor for Seth, if they wanted, I would switch Chris Evans to Seth Gecko.
Yeah.
Who could kill it.
Yeah.
And this character, if you've seen one movie I'll get to in a second, could play an amazing Richie Gecko on his own. But I wanted to see... I really had to get somebody that could be the George Clooney. You have to understand, I modeled my coolness. Dude, how many times have I told the clique when we're out, like, on the clock? When some shit was about to go down, on the clock. I modeled my shit after Seth Gecko.
Yeah.
For better and worse.
Yeah.
That is both cool and not cool at the same time.
Right.
My Seth Gecko is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's one of those things where if you ever watch Nightcrawler, Jake Gyllenhaal could give me an interesting Richie Gecko too. I would put those two fucks in a room and let them decide. But my casting is Chris Evans for Richie, Jake Gyllenhaal for Seth Gecko.
Yeah, that's where I would put it for that. Mm-hmm. And even like my take on Jake is just his character in Prisoners.
Yeah.
And just how tormented he was trying to keep it together and but he does this thing, and I don't know if you've ever noticed it, and it was really apparent on Prisoners. People, have you ever seen this fucking movie? Jake Gyllenhaal does this thing where he blinks his eyes, but his whole face blinks when he blinks, and it's almost like a tick. And it was just like kind of crazy just watching this with his character, and he's talking to these people that are involved with this case, where he's trying to find these two girls that are taken and they're captive, and he's trying to uncover this mystery. And that was like, God, he is just, I can't, when anything that's going on, when he was on when he was on screen, you focus on that because you're just like, it almost is unhinged because of the tick, and it's like you're just stuck just watching. And I don't know if he does that normally or naturally or if it's just a character thing or whatever, because I never really noticed it before, but I've only noticed it in that movie.
He does. He'll add ticks. It's not exactly the same one. That he adds. Jake Gyllenhaal might be number one.
What was that fucking movie that came out on Netflix that was just like, you don't even see the action, but you feel it? Where he was the dispatcher.
Oh, my boy Antoine Fuqua's film.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that beginning with the fire.
Yeah.
That was when I got my accident. That was the fire. Like, it was
Holy
insane.
Shit.
It was insane. But anyway, that's a whole other story. That gave me PTSD as a motherfucker. Fuck. It's a remake, actually.
Yeah.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna look it up while you're talking. But yeah, it's
but Jake Gyllenhaal is someone who, the reason I put him over any other
amazing.
actor.
Fucking amazing.
He can play any character, right? He can play sniveling. He can play wussy. He can play the tough. I mean, what, that fucking Michael Bay movie? He's going to town. Jake Gyllenhaal must have, like me, just sat and watched Heat for a straight week. He's throwing.
Guilty.
The guilty, yeah.
Guilty. Okay.
And again, like that's the type of actor you get when it's a movie basically in one room.
Yeah.
And he kills it. And then of course,
you see no action whatsoever. There's like a couple little cut scenes where you see people, like a cop pulling over a car, but you don't see what happens when they actually get the car pulled over. You see nothing, and he's a dispatcher, just talking to people, and the interactions and just the story and where it goes with him as an actor, it's fucking amazing.
Jake Gyllenhaal's face is what gives you the dread.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was so emotionally fucked up after that movie and saw nothing. I saw nothing. I saw nothing that happened to the kid. I saw nothing that happened to these people. I saw nothing that happened with this traffic stop, and I saw nothing that happened with his partner, that he was his police partner that was with him, that he was covering. Like, you see none of that. It's literally like AJ said. You're in one room with Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's telling a story of just the actor himself just telling his story. It was amazing. Oh, it was a great fucking movie.
And shout out to Antoine Fuqua, who's killing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Terminal List is amazing. I keep putting you on shit.
Yeah.
Stop watching Marvel bullshit.
No.
There's so much stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
We skipped over your From Dusk Till Dawn. So
yeah.
Give it to me, baby. What do we got?
So me, Dusk Till Dawn. God damn it! I didn't get it.
All right. Well, that's all right. We got time. I tell you what. Let's do this. Are you gonna recast Santonio Pandemonium? Do you have the real quick one for that? Or let's just leave it alone because it should be left alone.
Santanico, man. I don't know. Salma Hayek has got a special place in my
and by the way, she can still do it.
Yeah, she's got a special place in my wiener for me.
Yeah, her and Helen Mirren are on my list.
I've literally fucking done autoerotica with her in mind, and it was easily written because she's just that bitch.
And you've been listening to The Quiet Storm. This shit just took a left turn.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have at least a Seth or a Richie?
Right
off the top of your head.
Seth and Richie.
I tell you what. Let's do this. Go black, because I almost went black with them. Let's go black. Who would be a great? I got an interesting one.
What's that?
I keep wanting to cast Michael B. Jordan shit. Michael B. Jordan as Seth.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan Majors as Richie would be dope as hell.
Ooh, yeah.
And speaking of another actor who could do anything under the sun, could play any type of character, especially weird as shit, Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
And if you want to put John David Washington in either one of those slots too, and just rotate the three of them, I'm cool.
Yeah, and then
robbed all the black actors for you, all the like the top ones.
I was thinking for Richie, Lakeith Stanfield.
All right, I'm sorry, Lakeith. I was wrong. You are arguably one of the best, if not the best. I'm so sorry. God damn it.
Yeah.
I need to take my ball and go home.
Yeah, Lakeith would be a good fucking Seth, man.
By the way, I'm changing. Sorry, Chris Evans. Lakeith Stanfield for my Richie as well. That's everything.
Yeah, that's a good one, man, because he's so. It's like his mannerisms. You don't know what it is. That's the thing. He can be smooth, but when he's doing it, you could tell it's like you have an ulterior motive, and it scares me. And that for that character would just fucking kill. It would blow your fucking mind.
Who's your Seth then with Lakeith?
With Seth,
you know it might be good. Daveed Diggs. He was in Blind Spotting, which is one of my favorite films, one of my favorite independent films. He's in Snowpiercer now. Speaking of reboots and remakes, Snowpiercer's all right.
Yeah.
Daveed Diggs and Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes, I like him too.
Daveed Diggs.
I like him as a good actor too. Yeah, I do like him. I was thinking, homeboy from Matrix and the Watchmen.
Oh, Yahya Batin. Yeah, I think something like that.
And even fucking what's the name? God damn it!
By the way, he was also in the Antoine Fuqua film I just mentioned with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
There's literally
Daniel Kaluuya.
That's what I was gonna say. It's an interesting time, and no one's really talking about it. But, like, I was talking with a buddy of mine, a black actor, and we were talking about how the top 10 hot actors of the age that you get lead roles, 8 of them are black.
Yeah.
You know, you got Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling, Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, right? In there somewhere. Everyone else is black.
Yeah.
In the top 15.
Oh, yeah. It got to a point because it was like my thing was my memory was just it was getting late when I was trying to come up with everything, and I'm just going on like Google just to pull up people so I could be like,
right,
okay, that's the person I would do, and it was like so much, and which is it's a cool thing to see, but there's so much ethnicity out there, and there's so many people of color that are just great, amazing actors. It's like shit, I can't find a white guy to play his role that fits it because
except for the standard Chris's.
Exactly, it's like God damn it.
Chris's and the Ryans. That's
yeah, it is like God damn it. What the shit.
And one All Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Corey Hawkins should be the lead, and he's arguably beneath about 8 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Corey Hawkins is the shit. I actually did a pitch deck for a series where a cop and a criminal mastermind are twin brothers separate. It sounds corny as shit.
But it's come on now. This is where this is the life.
Well, we worked it in a cool way.
Yeah.
I'd put Corey Hawkins as playing both characters. And that was the pitch deck was Corey Hawkins. And yeah, man, like just so many impressive.
It's like I think the cool thing about it, which I fucking love for honestly just from our generation, is just for us. It doesn't have to be black and white. It's not about okay, you're getting cast for this character because of the color of your skin, because of just the people that we are looking for or the character that we're casting. It can be whatever. And still make complete sense. Because one person I thought we would have fucking picked in there, but we didn't, was Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
I thought Pedro was going to be picked on one of our casting as far as like the characters we had. And he didn't make it, and I mean he's fucking amazing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just there's so many fucking people.
Pedro would be an interesting Magneto.
Yeah.
I would also I think my Pedro would be Vader. I think if I had to put him in anything that we did, he'd be Vader.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Pedro. I don't like him for any of that shit, because the one thing I like about Pedro is the nuance that he brings to his roles. We won't talk about Wonder Woman 1984. And I'm sorry, I guess paycheck for Pedro. I don't know what that was. Yeah, I almost never want to see Pedro play a rebooted remake character. You know, I like his nuance.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you know, he's amazing. And then get ready, because fucking one TV show I cannot fucking wait for, because I love the games. The Last of Us. The Last of Us is going to be coming out on HBO.
That's with Pedro, right?
Yes, he's playing Joel. So The Last of Us, if it's anything like the game, and that's the crazy thing, because that fucking game had an amazing story. You know, it's basically zombie shit, but not really zombie shit.
The trailer made me cry.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you have this infection that goes around, turning people into plants, but they're basically zombies, and they're infected. And there's no cure, but there's this kid that does not get infected. So Joel's job is to bring this kid to a certain place to, you know, come up with this cure. And they kind of find out that the only way to get this cure from this kid is to kill her, because you're basically dissecting her brain to find out what the hell it is that has her immune, and he has to decide, am I going to release this kid to these people to fucking just, you know, butcher her to get this cure, or not cure the world at all? And oh man,
I know what I do.
Yeah, The Last of Us 1 and 2 is a fucking amazing game. If anybody has ever played it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, oh my god, get your hands on it.
And if you know your boy AJ, he's not a for the greater good, collateral damage type motherfucker. But if it's the whole world or one little girl, as tough as that decision is, the whole world.
Yeah.
I would dose some NyQuil in there, and I'd give her some Bill Cosby ice cream.
Let me get you one of my little drinks here, called a sore asshole. Why is it called a sore asshole? Because you pass the fuck out, you wake up with a sore asshole.
Side tangent, one of the best lines in The Boys Season 3 was Soldier Boy talking about how good a drink
Bill Cosby's drinks were. They were strong as hell, but that was a man. Fucking Soldier Boy.
And that's the thing about Kripke, his writing. He doesn't just do the subtle, wake up Marvel and learn. He doesn't do the one little punch.
Yeah.
He lets you sit in the pop culture joke for a good 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
What about the fucking character of what's his name? The Legend. That was cool. Fucking what's his name? Paul Reiser.
Yeah. So that's so in the comics, that's their version of Stan Lee. I don't know if you picked that up. That's supposed to be Stan Lee.
Okay.
It's a little less on the nose on the show.
Yeah.
As it is the comic books, it's straight up Stan Lee. And I think they shied away from it because they didn't want to offend nerds, because for some reason nerds don't realize that Stan Lee fucked over Jack Kirby and is kind of a fuckhead. You know, yeah, he created X-Men. He also did, you know, whatever. Anyway, in the books, it's bad.
Oh, yeah.
They make him the dirtiest old man and the most perverted.
Yeah, because he kept talking about the women he's fucked and shit, and it's like, what?
It's way worse in the comics.
Oh man.
Yep. Yeah, and it's Stan Lee.
See.
He even says, like, I think they went so far. Mark Innes, what's his name? Garth Ennis or whatever, the comic creator.
Yeah.
This is hokey for his writing, but I think he had to do it. I think there's a scene where the Legend is jerking off and yells Excelsior when he climaxes. I think he yells Excelsior in some... And I think it was when he was climaxing. And I want to say it wasn't him having sex with the prize. I think it was him jerking off. I can't remember.
Nice.
It's so long ago since I read the comic. Jesus. But anyway. We could be on The Boys for an hour.
Yeah, because we're already past that hour mark already.
We're going to drive... Well, you know, what I think you should do is just edit 2 1.5 hour. You know, just put a bunch of our bullshit in the beginning. Fuck.
Yeah. We will get together. We will put this together. Oh my god, I have to say, man, I don't even know. When you leave, we might have to fucking come up with a show together.
Mm-hmm, we will.
That we have to just do on fucking Zoom or whatever the fuck. Cause this shit.
I already got it with Discord. We're gonna talk, but we still got our top 5. Let's not final it out yet. Let's finish off strong with our top. With our top 5.
Top 5. Yeah, so top 5. Fucking god damn it. These reboots that have just been so fucking terrible that we're just gonna. So it's top 5 reboots that we would just erase off of the face of the earth. That they just have to fucking go. We don't. When nobody needs them, America don't want them.
We would collect the Infinity Stones
and
all the dragons' balls there are.
Snap your fingers and they're fucking wiped.
Yep,
they're wiped.
So let's go with number 5, Anthony. What is your number 5?
My number 5, I have to say, is going to be Footloose from 2011.
Oh, man. You know what's funny? There's so many movies that I don't even acknowledge, like Footloose and Dirty Dancing, that it doesn't even go on my list because I don't even acknowledge his existence.
Bullshit.
Which I think makes...
You got to go. Footloose got to go.
Fuck Footloose. I never seen it.
Me neither. And I think that's just it's stupid. Why are you remaking Footloose?
Man,
kiss my ass. We don't need you.
It's kind of unfair if we hadn't seen it to shit on it. I got a rule, but
because
also,
it's not necessary. Because there's nothing wrong with the original.
I feel like I could put my money in my house, all my shit, and like if I lose, Idris Elba has to rape my ass. I feel like I could put all that up on the line to say that movie ain't good though.
I'm pretty sure it's not. Nobody knows anything about it.
I'm not going to break my rule and shit on it, but I think I've said how I felt on the subject.
Yeah.
Your number 5 is Footloose.
Footloose.
My number 5, which has some... So here's the thing about my remakes. There are certain decent... They're nice tries in the regards of, like... this is a soulless piece of shit, but we're going to throw millions upon millions of dollars because we think it's going to be great. And people really tried hard to make this soulless piece of shit. Whereas I feel like Footloose and Dirty Dancing was just, we got to do it to keep the copyright or whatever the fuck. You know. So anyway, my number 5 is Big Green Lizard. And if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, then you didn't grow up with me. Big Green Lizard is Godzilla 1998. Anthony was nodding his head. He knows I do not call that movie Godzilla. I was a Godzilla fanatic growing up. And when that movie came out, I got super excited. And the anger, the fucking anger I had in the theater. I don't know if you were with me, if that was one that we all watched together. I don't remember.
No.
Because I saw Red.
No.
And
it wasn't, but it even had a soundtrack that was actually pretty fucking decent.
Yeah, in which, let me double down on that and say that Puff Daddy is one of the best rock stars there ever was. He ain't a great rapper. That man can rock.
Yeah. It was, you had that. You had fucking Green Day that had a good song behind it.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, you had fucking
work out to.
Matthew Broderick that was in it. Matthew Broderick was great. And yeah, segue into my number 4. Big Green Lizard.
Big Green Lizard.
God, fuck you. 1998. It's definitely on my list.
I should like fall on my sword and commit seppuku for not having it higher on my list than you.
Yeah.
But I got some shit turds. So do you have anything else to say about Big Green Lizard?
I mean, it was shit.
The Jurassic Park third act with the babies.
The baby thing was trash. The monster itself the kaiju was trash. The casting was lackluster. It was a poorly done movie all around.
Our
all across the board.
major military lieutenant is the most French motherfucker ever.
Yeah, the only thing that
I love Jean Reno, but whatever.
Yeah, the only thing that came out of that movie that was good was the soundtrack.
Yep. Which I still listen to.
Yeah, it was just like was it the original Suicide Squad? Only good thing that came out of it, the fucking soundtrack.
I could leave all those songs on it's just too hot.
I told you. Oh, that was my shit.
Yo, yeah, Anthony, for real. drops panties in the karaoke. That's the worst I've ever heard that man sing. I'm not trying to call him out. I'm just saying it. Don't walk away from this podcast thinking that's him singing, because that ain't.
Yeah.
He's got an angelic voice. He gets all of us laid when we go to the karaoke. Anyway, number 4, which is an abomination. Shout out to my girl Sarah. Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Which,
I didn't get that one in there because I didn't see it, but I heard.
Well, here's why you'll love it, stories. Anthony. Because it's a fucking CW show. Man,
it looked like it. The casting, everything
your boy
about
Tom Hopper's in it.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Here's all I need to say about this pile of shit. Okay. It's one of those movies that takes the characters and makes the characters accurate, but completely does whatever they want to the story. Which I hate above all else, because it's like the fact that the characters kind of look and fit the role, but they're not doing what the characters do, and they're not acting like the characters act, it just makes you go, you had it. And how'd you fucking lose it?
How did you do that?
So, spoilers.
How?
Spoilers for this pile of shit. Fucking, the post-credit stinger that all these fucking films have now, alright? Wesker is just a fucking cop. He's just some bullshit cop. Yeah, they're all just, the STARS team is like tactical police department.
No. Well, I mean, yes, but no.
The only shittier team is that Uvalde, Texas team. They... Fuck you. All right? Yeah. Shots fired. We're moving on from you fucks.
We're not going in.
But they're practically...
out.
God damn it.
Let them kids
the guy with the Punisher logo on his fucking phone. Pussy mother... anyway.
Fuck you, bro.
God, fuck you.
Fuck you, bro.
So, anyway, and my apologies to Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City for even comparing you guys.
Yeah, that's not where we're going. But yeah, but unfortunately you made a shitty movie.
Yep, so here's the
thing. You made shit moves.
Post-credit sequence. So he's never really Wesker the entire time. Okay?
Oh, come on.
So it's like an origin of Wesker.
What?
He's basically just Tom Hopper the entire time. And then, of course, there's some twist where he's sort of involved. But he's not really a bad guy, whatever. So he gets fucked up where you think he's going to die. And I think his eyes, I forget. I think God have blocked this out. There's something going on with his eyes he can't see. I think he's blind. Okay? Yeah. And he's left blind for dead. And Ada Wong comes out. Of course, fucking Ada Wong. Why Ada Wong's coming out now, whatever. I love Ada Wong, but not in this context.
No.
Ada Wong comes out and basically is like, are you ready to work? And then she puts the sunglasses on him. And instantly he becomes the Albert Wesker we know.
Oh, stop it.
The sunglasses
the
have
glasses, not the infection, not a fucking recalibrated, refined infection that turns you in superhuman.
None of the shit from the video game happened.
The glasses. The glasses.
Yep.
The sunglasses, the Ray-Bans.
Yep.
Kiss my ass.
He basically,
kiss my
the
fucking
Ray-Bans.
ass. Suck my dick.
And by the way,
suck my fucking dick.
That's about all I remember from the movie. And I remember I was in a dark... So I went through a lot this year. And I'm sitting in this movie theater, and I'm literally texting Sarah and Sam.
Angry.
Shout outs to Emerge RVA Dance Company for killing it this weekend. I'm just going to put that out. I need to put some good in the world. Anyway, I'm texting them the entire time. I have a rule. I don't fucking do that in movies. And by the way, I'm by myself because nobody else is watching that shit.
So angry.
And I'm texting the entire time, like giving play-by-play on how much dog shit this movie is. Mind you, it's number 4. Not only are you number 4, but you're above Big Green Lizard. Fuck you. I compared the pussiest... and by the way, we're not using pussy as a derogative, but the pussiest police department in the entire world I compared to you. That's how bad your movie is.
Raccoon City is only because I've never seen you that you weren't on my list, because that's terrible.
Oh, by the way, I've been encouraging people to watch it because I want that for them in their life. I want them...
Yeah, I'm kind of scared because they got a TV show now on Netflix, too, and it's like...
Yeah, that looks bad too. I love Lance Reddick. I love Lance Reddick. That is not Wesker either.
It looks bad.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 4, bro?
All right. So my number 4. No. My number 3.
Yeah, your number 3.
My number 3 is going to be the remake to Friday the 13th. That was Here's and this is the stupidest fucking thing for this fucking remake. The biggest take on this remake that everybody was supposed to take home and be like, oh, this shit is real.
Was that he was a mentally challenged weed grower, right?
No, that Jason could run. Jason was mobile. So he was like, he wasn't this sluggish fucking guy that was just swinging a fucking, a goddamn a sword or whatever. He was mobile. So that was like the biggest take for 2009, and they made a shit movie. So it was like he was mobile, he did his stretches, he had his calisthenics, he did his CrossFit.
I don't remember.
It was terrible. And that's the thing, it was fucking terrible.
All I remember about that movie was and I'm not making fun of mentally challenged by this, but
no.
he's a mentally challenged redneck hillbilly pot grower, right? I'm not wrong in that?
I don't remember.
There was a
that
weed
part,
aspect.
It might have been.
Stop putting people in tunnels. All right? Fucking Vietnam.
Fuck.
Stop. So,
yeah.
And then I remember
it was a shit fucking movie.
And then I remember thinking, well, Jared Palecki's career's over.
Let me see.
That's what I remember.
Let me check. Because I'm going to see about the pot growing thing.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'm just going to say that's my number 2 is Friday the 13th, the remake. That's my number 2. That film, I think Halloween, the original, which, by the way, the only reason those Rob Zombie remakes aren't on here is because there's some small aspects of those movies I did enjoy. Like some small... It's still an abomination. But anyway.
Yeah.
Halloween was always my favorite, but Friday the 13th, all of them together was sort of hollow ground. Like, how do you mess it up? That film did not feel like anything in Friday. And by the way, Platinum Dunes remade all the shit. And they were all shit. But all of them were decently watchable, except for this movie. And wasn't there like a found footage aspect to it as well? Or am I thinking of one of the mini movies they were going to make that they canceled?
It might have been the mini movies. So this one actually was, because I'm reading it right now. So it was more or less the original shit. It wasn't any pot farmers or anything like that. It was supposed to be, somebody who was going back to Camp Crystal Lake to try to find a sister.
I could have sworn they stumbled on weed growing.
It might have been. I mean, or maybe you're thinking, no.
You know what?
It was something else that I'm thinking Cabin in the Woods is what was coming to mind every time I keep saying that.
No,
but it was other shit. But either way, it's like, and that's the sad part about it. There's no identity to this movie. There's no identity whatsoever. So there's no fucking telling. It's like, it could be one thing, it could be another. But yeah, my biggest take from it was the fact that fucking Jason was super fat. He was he had better reflexes.
Yeah, they made him Rambo, right?
Yeah, he was CrossFit Jason.
But he was also mentally challenged, am I wrong?
But yeah, he was still retarded.
No, but like in the original he wasn't. Never mind. Yeah, he was. All right.
Yeah, it's like he was more mobile, and that was about it. That was the big thing.
But he was. It was John Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was retarded John
Yeah,
Rambo.
machete and all, and he would fuck you up, but he was still stupid. But whatever.
We've spent too much time on this movie.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna flip.
Next.
I'm just gonna make, because by the way, I actually flipped these two back and forth. So let's just make Friday the 13th my number 3.
Okay.
My number 2. Let me go off by saying that the original is a masterpiece, and I remember making you and Brian watch the original.
Oh shit!
And you fucking loved it. We'd watch this remake together, and I was like, "No, you fuckers are gonna watch the original." And they're like, "There's no fucking way we're watching the original." I'm like, "You gotta trust me."
I almost think that we might have the same number 2.
Black and white. It's a black and white movie. Rest in peace, my boy, who was in the original. The remake that is number 2 and should probably be number 1 is Rollerball.
We have the same number 2.
Fuck yes, we do. By the way, so far we have Godzilla, Rollerball, and Friday the 13th all on our list.
Yeah, man.
And so Rollerball.
Yeah, man.
The thing about Rollerball, and the only reason Rollerball's not number 1 is I loved the Shane McMahon cameo. And
no, Paul Heyman.
No, Shane McMahon too.
He's in it too?
Paul Heyman and Shane McMahon.
Oh my god, I don't even remember Shane.
Yep.
But I remember Paul smoking weed with the roach.
Yep.
On the yeah.
And then
Why?
Rebecca Romaine is.
Yeah.
So what's funny is the remake. The remake is basically some fluff horse shit. Where it's like a
complete.
Where it's like a sport that you could actually play.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to. This is supposed to be a death sport that takes place in a dystopian future. The last thing sort of pseudo becomes the death sport, but even that, it was just like, oh my god, they're playing for real and trying to get. Let me tell you something. The original is no bullshit. Yeah. You were dropped into a dystopian future where there's this popular sport called rollerball, and motherfuckers are dying and getting fucked up. Yeah. And it basically is about James Caan, who's the all-star, who decides to use his celebrity to take down the corporations that are basically getting all this money from the bloodlust sport. So the entire sport is crazy. To even think, with all the technology and shit that they had in 2002...
Yeah, like, how could you not make this better?
The funny thing was, Anthony and Brian, they were the two that were there, were like, there's no way we're watching an old 70s movie about this bullshit. When they watched it, we were tired as fuck. It was like 2:30 in the morning. They fucking loved it. Because Rollerball, the original, is as good, if not better, than what Rollerball, the remake,
10 times better. 10 times better.
And
makes no sense at all. Where you have better technology and realistic shit. It's just, it makes no sense at all. Because that movie was trash. Yeah, it was shit.
And what'd you think of the original?
Good.
Yeah.
Good shit. Made sense. And that's the crazy thing. Because when it came back to, like, the 70s and 80s, nothing made fucking sense. They would just throw some shit in there, put some good music, motherfuckers dancing, and then it was like, that's the fucking movie. And we got fucking, sexy women showing their titties, and that's it. And it's like, what the fuck? I'm smarter than this. I don't like this. So, but yeah. That fucking movie was goddamn garbage.
Rollerball, the original, is one of the older films, like 73 or something like that. That is one of the only movies in the 70s that you could do a shot-for-shot remake of the day. Like, if you could just upgrade it to today, it would still hold up.
It makes sense. It actually made sense in those times, which is crazy, because it's not as crazy as it is now, which makes complete sense for what they were going for that fucking movie.
One more time, rest in peace, James Caan, and rest in peace, the even more dead Chris Klein's career.
Right.
Because
that died a long time ago.
And LL Cool J was like, I'm going to lick my lips over this network television gig.
Hey, all right. Chris Klein. So are we on number one?
So your number two and my number two is Rollerball, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we're on number one. And if we got the same number one... There's a special place in my heart. This is gonna surprise people. My number one, because it's shitty. It might not be as shitty as the others, but I got my point. What is your number one?
So my number one, because of the fact that I wanted it to work,
oh no,
and it didn't, and it fucked up everything else. The Tom Cruise led The Mummy.
Oh man, I guess that does count as a remake.
Yes, I went with The Mummy because The Mummy. If people didn't know, they were going to do like a whole... What the hell was the original movie? Fuck. Monster Squad?
Yeah. Monster Squad is the kids, right?
Yeah, so it was supposed to be like this whole thing where they were going to do all these old school monster characters. So it was going to be the Mummy. It was going to be the creature from the Black Lagoon. What else was it? It's going to be Dracula.
Medusa.
And Medusa. So it's going to be these...
It's, the Bride of Frankenstein.
Bride of Frankenstein,
yeah.
Sorry.
With Angela Bassett, or not, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Frankenstein, right. So it's supposed to be these monsters that would come in, that they were going to do these 4 fucking movies that were going to come together, and it was going to be like a Monster Squad thing where they were going to go against these same movies or the characters or whatever, and they came out with The Mummy first. The Mummy, I'm thinking, is going to be some fucking remake for, like, the goddamn Brandon Fraser movies and shit. And it's some other fucking bullshit. that Tom Cruise came up with. I don't think he came up with, but he starred in, and it was complete fucking trash.
The story, the behind-the-scenes story, is that Tom Cruise dictated so much and fucked it up.
Yeah,
that's the story.
Not surprised.
What I have an issue with is Tom Cruise is smart.
Very.
He doesn't. So he either dropped the ball completely on this movie, or it was a push-pull to where Tom Cruise took it a different direction, and they decided to take it back a different direction. That's why it's such a mess.
I take it more as like, you know, the actor did not agree with the creators, and it just came up with a fucking jumbled mess.
Well, what you need is both extremes for that to be a pile of shit. Because I do not believe Tom Cruise is going to leave a film in that shape.
No.
So what I think happened was Tom Cruise, during the production, went a different direction, did his whole thing. He loved Jake Johnson, and their whole dynamic. I think Jake Johnson, I could be wrong, I might be regurgitating some stuff out of false memory, but I feel like Jake Johnson's supposed to die when he was supposed to die. Mm-hmm. But their chemistry was so good that Tom Cruise was like, we need to keep him in the movie. And so he stays in the movie. Which is also kind of funny because it kind of overshadows Annabelle Wallace's character. And there's this whole thing about, is Tom Cruise gay? Yeah, look, it's DMV. You're going to hear gunshots. It is what it is. You know what it is.
All right. Okay.
So, it's just hilarious. You got Sophia, I can never pronounce her last name, Petulia.
Petulia.
And Annabelle Wallace, who were, you know, you had all the pieces. They had the set piece in the trailer, which was amazing. Because Tom Cruise always has to do something that might kill him in a movie.
Right, of course. He has to do some stunt that might murder him or maim him. And he fucking is like, hey, I did that, guys. Let's fucking put this out on Hollywood and, you know, look at my wiener. But yeah, that fucking movie, only because it fucked up the possibility of so many other things developing that it just, all of it. That's the thing. All of it. They literally had a franchise set up that they were going to do, and all of it got scrapped because that movie did bad.
Not to mention, they already had one film out, which was Dracula Untold, and my boy Luke Evans killed that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yep.
You know, I don't know if I wanted to see the whole shared universe shit. Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, interesting.
Yeah.
But Luke Evans deserves more.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great actor.
I will say that you want to know the best way to wash your number one out of your mouth?
Huh.
Go to fucking Top Gun, goddammit. Stop fucking up. That is an amazing movie. It made me my heart. I will go see it.
I'll go see it.
Anyway, let's get to my number one and get this thing wrapped up. My number one is a Mountain Dew commercial. Or you might know it as the Point Break remake.
Point Break.
I don't know why people hate Edgar Ramirez. He's such an awesome actor. He was great in Domino. He still has the show in Domino. There's that other movie with him and Joel McHale. The horror film. What's that horror film with him and Joel McHale?
Oh!
Joel McHale just steps up and is like, I'm going to be badass for fucking an hour.
Are you talking about the Eric Bana, Joel McHale movie?
It was
with
Eric Bana.
It was Eric Bana.
No, Edgar Martinez was the other guy, right?
I think. It was more like a devil, like the chick threw her baby into capture with like animals.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Oh my god.
I'm pulling this up right now because I feel like Edgar Martinez is in it. I did not confuse. It's called Deliver Us from Evil.
Yeah.
And motherfucker, he was. Oh yeah, he is. Edgar Ramirez is in this movie. Thank God.
He was the priest, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was Eric Bana was the other cop, and Joel McHale was one of the cops, and then
Sean Harris was in it. My ex-girlfriend Olivia Munn is in
it. Fucking true story. So I was dating this chick.
It wasn't a true story.
No, not that shit. True story. I was watching the movie. True story, with this chick I was dating, and she was falling asleep while we were watching it. And there's a scene where this little girl calls for her mom, and she's like, "Mommy," and then something happens, and the child screams, and this bitch jumped up because she thought it was her fucking daughter. She's like, so you hear the little girl like, "Mommy," and she's like, "Yeah, baby." He's like, "Hey!" And then she jumps the fuck up like it's like goddamn World War II, And, like, she's ready for action. And I'm like, motherfucker, what are you doing? I'm watching a movie. Like, sit your dumb ass down.
Did you just shame a mom who was woken in terror that her child was a teacher?
We were watching a movie. That wasn't your baby.
But I'm saying you...
She couldn't tell her baby's mommy. I don't know. If anyway, go ahead. We gotta wrap this shit up.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
I laugh my ass off because it's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Period.
We come from a dark place.
Hey.
We grew up in a bad place. Anyway, so
that was a good movie.
That's amazing movie.
Yeah.
And I don't really like the supernatural devil shit.
Me neither, really. But yeah,
that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Don't remake that.
Yeah.
Point Break. There's not much to say about Point Break because the first one's so iconic, right? So it's already a movie you shouldn't remake.
Yeah, you got to come correct if you're gonna come with that shit. It's like you have to really have good story, good cast, everything. Like you can't half-ass that.
So I don't know this to be true, okay? But I know how several movies get made. And my thought process, and I would bet the farm, is that they were like, let's make the remake and let's lean on extreme sport cinematography, which is what this film is basically doing.
Yeah.
They're leaning towards GoPros and all the stuff that you saw on YouTube at the time that was popular.
Yeah.
They basically anoint this actor named Luke Bracey, who's not that great. Sorry, Luke. I didn't watch the new Chris Hemsworth produced movie on Netflix. I'm sure all of y'all did because you fucking just do whatever Netflix tells you to do.
Right.
I'm sure it's bad.
What are you talking about, though? What is it, the 12 Steps or something?
Who the fuck? No, wait, what? You're talking about the 12 Horse movie?
No.
That's amazing. That's Chris Hemsworth. No. It's the movie with his wife.
Okay.
Who plays
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Baby's mama in Fast and the Furious 29.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I haven't seen Luke Bracey since. But I was like, who's this dude that they're anointing in the Keanu Reeves role? It was not good. Edgar Ramirez is amazing, okay? But so they basically threw money at Edgar Ramirez, and they were like, you get to play Patrick Swayze, but you get to do a different spin. And his spin, Edgar Ramirez is not bad in anything he does, but, dude, that's Brody.
Yeah.
You know, it did not work at all. And basically, you have Brody doing Brody stuff. It's a different version. He's darker, more extreme. All this bullshit. It wasn't. It wasn't fun. The fun of the movie was taken out. And then
you can't do that.
They did, and I'm trying to remember who played the Gary Busey part. Where is this shit? Here we go. Give me 1 second, guys.
Getting aggravated just thinking about it.
Ray Winestone. They got Ray Winestone. And by the way, Ray Winestone, an amazing actor. Phone that shit the fuck in. And then, oh my God, Teresa Palmer was the girlfriend. I love Teresa Palmer. Didn't even remember she was in the movie.
That's how bad it was. It's like, that's the thing about a fucking bad remake.
Yep.
When you completely forget just
great actors.
Shit that should just really stand out for you. And you're like, oh yeah, that was a fucking thing.
Yeah, I wish I could remember more about this movie. But what I remember, why it's on my number one, despite the fact that I can't remember it, was that I walked away going, all that was several Mountain Dew commercials and a few set pieces for actors to act. And I came away feeling like they shot half the movie on an extreme low budget using just the cinematography, right? Now, granted, this isn't Christopher Nolan's. Like, if it was something, if it was what, why am I drawing a blank? James Cameron. If it's James Cameron level cinematography, or even that movie Need for Speed, which I liked. I don't know why people didn't like it. The cinematography on Need for Speed was great. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't awesome cinematography. It was GoPro-esque. Like, they wanted it to look and feel real, like those extreme sport videos.
No,
and they
can't.
They thought they were tapping into the market. That YouTube is why this movie was made, because YouTube was popular at the time and all that other stuff. and it's a pile of dog shit. And just it is the abomination. It actually ought to be off this list and next to the Dirty Dancings and the Footloose or whatever. But I just needed everybody to know that no one remembered this movie. I needed to pull it out from obscurity to remind everyone that it's a pile of dog shit.
All right. In closing, honorable mentions. You got any?
Ooh, you know what? I had the honorable mentions, and then I sort of closed them out. Yeah, you say yours, and then maybe I'll remember mine. We probably had some of the same.
Total Recall.
Okay, hold on. Not to fucking go on a rant. I'm a huge Philip K. Dick reader. That remake was more like the book. Let me say this.
And that's sad. Not in a bad way, but well, sort of. But
here's my point. Paul Verhoeven is an amazing director, and Total Recall is an amazing movie. That should not be Total Recall. That should just be its own film, and it's a better film.
Yeah.
What I loved about Total Recall was I read the book, and so that was more in line with the book. Like, he also wrote Minority Report, and so it's more in the vein of what I read, so I enjoyed it for that. I did not want someone to do what Paul Verhoeven did. What I did not realize was most people was going to go in with the love of the Paul Verhoeven film. So I get why people shit on that film.
For me, it was an experience that just did not... It was like you said with Point Break, it was like all the shit that happened, I don't remember anything. It's just nothing. And I mean, like, even with the hope of it was like close to this book, I'm all about having a story that's close to what the book was like, but don't half-ass it. Is like, don't be half-ass about the shit. And I feel like that movie was pretty half-ass.
Right.
It was like they went with the hot chicks that looked good in these roles, and let's do some sci-fi CGI shit to blow your fucking minds. When it came to him fucking, uncovering who he was, and the whole Total Recall part was half-assly done. And I was just like, all right, I'm lost. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I get it. I mean, it's fair.
2 weeks.
Did they do their version? That's the bad thing. They did their version of the 3 boobs, right?
Yeah, they did the 3 boobs. I think they did the 2 weeks. He was like an Asian guy at that point. It was like they had the chick, and she wasn't the disguise that he had. She actually was a real person that walked through. And then it was him, and then his fucking disguise still like glitched in some other shit.
Right.
Bullshit.
Honorable mentions I have real quick. Taxi.
Yeah. The one you talking about? The one with goddamn Saturday Night Live guy.
Yeah. Jimmy Fallon. The original's so good. Wicker Man, of course.
Yes.
And also, hey, fuck Midsommar as well for basically being a mixture of the Friday the 13th remake and The Wicker Man, only shot by a director who thought he was going to win an Oscar. And by the way, that's not an attack on you, bro, because Hereditary was amazing. But
that was a weird fucking movie, man.
I saw you trying for your Oscar in Midsommar when
you did a weird fucking
driving
movie,
down the road. You did that flip rotation 5 times. You don't do it 5 times. That's like Chris Benoit, who we're not allowed to talk about, doing the belly to back suplex 5 times.
That was a weird fucking movie, man.
But Wicker Man for sure. People don't like the Martyrs remake. I thought it was all right.
It's bad when you watch a Spider-Man and you can't remember which Spider-Man it was. That's been overdone.
Bangkok Dangerous.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
The remake of Jacob's Ladder is an abomination. Putting right there with Flatliners. Both originals.
Oh.
Both originals were some of my favorite movies growing up.
Son of a bitch.
And both remakes are horrible. Definitely watch Flatliners and Jacob's Ladder. And the Cabin Fever remake shouldn't even be talked about.
I didn't see that, but I heard it was bad.
I mean, why are we remaking Cabin Fever? Hadn't it been 10 years at that point? Or
question: was Evil Dead remake any good? I don't remember much.
Oh, the Latino director.
The girl.
The one that was more horror based.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was good.
Yes.
It was good, right?
I enjoyed
I thought
that
it was.
film.
I couldn't remember much about that one, and then another one I couldn't think of, which it wasn't really a reboot, but it was just I guess, sequel, was The Thing.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
All the actors.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
Yeah.
The Thing's amazing. That remake.
Oh yeah, the original was fucking amazing.
But a movie I feel like a lot of people slept on was that Evil Dead remake, and that Evil Dead remake came out after Platinum Dunes, it wasn't Platinum Dunes, but Platinum Dunes remade every horror film that us 80s, 90s kids grew up on. And so by that time, nobody wanted to see the shit anymore. Evil Dead was interesting in that not only was it a straight up horror version. So the first Evil Dead was horror, but there was still campiness to it. It's still a little funny. This Evil Dead is straight up Evil Dead, but horror.
Yeah, it was horror.
Now here's the thing, and it's since been canned, so don't get excited. They were doing this possible multiverse thing, where at the end of that movie, it was a straight up horror film. There was nothing campy, nothing fun about it.
No, it was
a straight up brutal horror film, and then at the end, it alludes to the same way that Ash went to
the second one,
the third one.
Army of Darkness.
The same kind of thing happens, and it alludes to Ash. They were going to tie the whole thing into a universe.
Damn, that sucks.
And the only reason it didn't happen was the box office wasn't that good.
It didn't do good, yeah.
You don't even need to hope for the sequel stuff. Just it's a standalone movie. Just forget the last minute of whatever happens that alludes to Ash. I forget. Great movie. The stuff they were going to eventually do with it sort of went into Ash versus the Evil Dead. Like the first season of Ash versus the Evil Dead is some of what they were going to do. Okay. So, great movie. Yeah.
All right, so let's leave it with one good reboot that you have to put in.
This is my favorite. People want to shoot me for this. I am such a huge fan of the original, and I don't ever believe a remake is better than the original. And again, people are going to kick me in the dick. The Longest Yard, man. People have that.
With Adam Sandler?
Yep.
Yeah.
People have that as a bad movie.
I fucking love that movie.
That is on a list of bad remakes. I even heard The Ringer, my boys at The Ringer, and Bill Simmons and all them going in on how bad that was.
Fuck you.
No, that's not.
That was a great fucking movie. I mean, you have the wholesomeness and you have the silliness and the gritty. Yeah, come on, man.
Adam Sandler playing, and that's not really a dramatic role, but any movie where Adam Sandler plays serious, Punch Drunk Love, this last Netflix movie. It's the only reason I re-signed on Netflix for a month was to watch that basketball movie.
Oh yeah.
And I guess Stranger Things. Shout out Tristan, you did a great job. Every time Adam Sandler plays a normal, serious dude or whatever, it's great.
Oh yeah.
He's such an amazing dramatic actor. Of course, Uncut Gems. But my point is that remake of The Longest Yard hit every rung, gave every actor their moment. All the actors that aren't actors, Nelly, all the pro wrestlers in there. He adapted the script to fit their style, and everything is fucking perfect. There's another interesting remake that is the Longest Yard remake called Mean Machine, which is the soccer version that has Jason Statham and what's the big British guy that
Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones. That is also a great movie. I love Burt Reynolds and I love The Longest Yard, but those other two movies are actually my favorite. Or I actually like them over the original Longest Yard.
God damn. I'm mad as shit because my one great remake I forgot because I'm drunk. I'm sorry. So
maybe we can remake your thought next time.
Yeah, so whenever that comes to mind, I'll fucking remember it and then I'll fucking remind you.
I talk too much.
No, it's okay. It's I've been drinking.
That's his. If you follow his other podcast, you want to give a shout out to your other podcast?
Yeah, shout out to other podcasts. It is Sobering Thoughts. There's a podcast. My uncle, who would get completely obliterated and just forget what he was talking about. We honed him the name I've Been Drinking. So officially I've Been Drinking. So I completely forgot what the fuck movie I was gonna say I fucking loved. that was a remake.
Sobering Thoughts. It's amazing. If you ever want to know, real quick, and then we'll go. Funniest thing was a bunch of my friends in Dallas. Like, a lot of people heard about my upbringing. And but they didn't have no context. I'm this director and whatever. Like, they don't know this other guy. When I had heard Sobering Thoughts and listened to a few episodes, I got a bunch of my friends to listen to it. And I'm like, if you ever want to know what it was like growing up where I grew up, listen to this. And
yeah.
It is equal parts. And here's the interesting thing. There are several podcasts out there that talk about serious stuff and then talk about stupid stuff at the same time. There's just a vibe that, for example, John Bernthal. If you listen to John Bernthal's podcast, there's just this DMV swagger that is unlike anywhere else. I've lived a long time in New York, LA, Miami. What people don't understand is the DMV, because we're so close to DC, because it is those three cities, Baltimore, DC, and Richmond, are so close to New York, that you have never met a melting pot of individuals.
It's crazy.
Like in the DMV. You have everything from racist white people to like wealthy, uppity black people to diplomat daughters from all over the world. There's never, even over New York, the melting... Because here's the thing. You don't have a lot of redneck, racist pieces of shit in New York. Not that that's not a bad thing, but my point is, like, you experience every type of human in the DMV.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the people that come out of this, with the exception of Grant Gustin, bring that type... You have to understand, we've been talking about Breaking Bad. Vince Gilligan is from here. Like, there's a swagger... Not ironically, swagger is from here. There's just a thing with us. We never saw racial lines. We're all the same type of cat. And when we all get together, it doesn't really matter what you are. Shout out to John Bernthal's podcast, Real Ones. Shout out to Anthony's podcast, Sobering Thoughts. This really is how we've always wanted the world to be, is this DMV.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
Got emotional.
So with that, my name is Anthony. You can find me on Instagram if you want to look me up. You can find me at Rockstar Tony. AJ, where can they find you?
I'm AJ, and I'm incognito. Incognito, as we say.
Incognito. With that being said, we say good day to you.
Good day, sir.